Hello all. It's a little too windy outside. Highs are supposed to be in the 80s. Severe fire damage all around. Red flag, purple flag even. I think that's a little extreme. It just doesn't feel like it's anywhere near fire weather. It feels like a typical California fall day. No big deal. But I think that they're so shell-shocked from the fires that they just say it just to make sure that everything's covered. So San Francisco is one of the only places in Northern California that won't have their power shut off today, because the wind always blows in San Francisco and we don't have power lines that swing and snap and all that. What I wanted to talk to you about today was denialism. Denialism. God. It's so prevalent here in the U.S. at this time, and many other parts of the world, where COVID is now rising for the third time here in the U.S. A clear wave, 3 waves, not 2. But the orange man wants to lie and say we've only had 1 wave or 2 waves and it's going around the corner and it's almost over with. Just all lies 100% of the time. And I just don't get it. So I put the board out yesterday, and Sam left a message about denialism, so I thought I would carry on with that. And how terrible denialism is. Here in the U.S., the orange man has deregulated just about everything that had a regulation on it. Let's look at the list here as we talk. This is denialism, black and white as it gets. Just pure denialism. Why would we go and spend 100 years putting in all these regulations and then just throw them all away and say that arsenic in the water isn't dangerous and tritium in the water, drinking water, isn't dangerous, and that nuclear power can discharge all the radioactive water they want into the ocean and it won't hurt anything? I've had 2 different commenters tell me that. And I don't get it. Where is the denialism? You know, sometimes medical denialism I can understand myself. I have a very slow growing prostate cancer, and I just don't want to go and deal with that anymore. I don't want to get radiated. I don't want to do anything. I just want to live my life and pretend it doesn't happen. It isn't there, and wait till it does become a real problem and then deal with it. It's natural for us to deny this type of thing. And as far as environmental deregulation, that's 100% denialism. Dirty air won't hurt you. Cutting down major forests won't hurt you or just make money for everybody. Everybody should be happy. Drill for oil as much as possible. Give money to the fossil fuel industry. All this is denialism, 100%. So what about the voting machines? Are they corrupt? Of course they are. Do people in the U.S. get to elect their officials? Well, they kind of make it look like we do, but in reality we sort of don't, do we? Electoral College decides. Supposedly they vote the way the state voted. So if they vote for Biden, it means that the Electoral College has to vote for Biden in that state. But it's not a fast rule for all states and can be voted the other way. So that means that the people really don't get to vote for their president. They pretend like they vote and they believe that their vote counts, but in reality it's not. It's the Electoral College, and that is why Trump is in office today, who lost by 3 million votes last election, but yet the people didn't get to decide. Gore v. Bush, that was also decided by the Supreme Court, not the people. But yet, if you tell people their vote doesn't count, boy, do they go after you. Of course it does. We're a free country. We vote for our blah, 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 blah. Well, I've been around for so long and been through so many of these elections. There's almost none. There's so few that the people actually got to choose. But sometimes they do. But as far as this election, if there was ever a chance of an election being stolen, it's this one. And what will we do when Trump is declared the winner? Just throw up our hands and say, oh well, and go about our business and go along with the no testing of COVID and pretending like COVID doesn't count anymore and that it's fake and that it's just a slight flu, and all these people sitting on their or laying on their stomach for 3 weeks on ventilators. Oh, that's just fake. That doesn't really happen. And that the hospitals are overwhelmed. Nah, it doesn't happen, does it, Republicans? But yet, right now, denialism is in control of the U.S., isn't it? Sure looks like it. This comment was left on our comment section from the last video, linked down below. You know, this is what I mean by denialism, is that we make it so that it's harmless. We give facts and figures, making radioactive water being poured in the Pacific harmless. But see, they don't put in factors such as nuclear bomb tests from the past and all the radiation that's in the air right now and on the land and in our food that's poisoning us, plus the radiation from the nuclear accident in Russia and 3 Mile Island, and all these nuclear accidents and spillages, including all the ones in Russia, where they actually mined with nuclear explosions and all that material was put out into the environment in big heaps. So all this radiation all piles up, and it becomes an ever-ending upward trend that we constantly are going up, and it doesn't go down. Radiation stays in humans forever. So the more you get, the higher the dosage of the world population. That's what I was trying to tell people, is that it isn't a one this or one that. It's an accumulative thing. And radiation builds up in all of us. The more radiation builds up, the more chances of cancer. And do you know anybody that might have had cancer? There's that denialism again. Boy, it's thick. But anyway, that's what all I wanted to say, is that, denialism doesn't do anybody any good other than the ones that get the money for it. And that's the only reason that anybody would say that nuclear water being poured into the ocean will do nothing to humans, is because they're making money on it, right? Alright, let's call this a shorter video, and I appreciate the ups, the downs, the new comments, the new subscribers, and till next time.